Employee Health and Wellness Clinic. Emailed you guys about that. Do you have any questions? None? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I think
you.
we've been educated on that. so
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you. Arts and Museums has 2 items on the agenda. The first one, item D, resolution to approve application for grant funds. This is for Archaeology and Post Tavern. This would fund Archaeology Day, Archaeology Camp, and lab volunteers for 1 year, although we are thinking about extending that for a period of 3 years.
Matching at 50%?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Next one is resolution to approve payment of an invoice. This is for work that we had done on the 2 HVAC units located on the roof of the Rosenbaum house. One of them had a blocked drain. We got that taken care of and ran diagnostics on the other one.
Any damage?
No, thankfully, we caught it early enough.
Good deal. Okay. Any questions for Brian? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, Council, I have one item on the agenda tonight. It's Resolution E under the consent agenda. This is a contract with G-Tech LLC out of Huntsville to do some engineering testing at the new 911 EMA building. And this is necessary for our structural engineer to ensure that the design meets the seismic requirements for a commercial building.
Thank
Those
you.
people who used to work there, we stand up.
I suppose so.
Yeah, you covered this at our 911 meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
And so thank you for that additional information
Yes, ma'am.
related to this project. Can you give the council an idea of how long this will extend the project? Because that was a question addressed that day.
Yes, ma'am. So if the council approves this project, we're looking at a couple of weeks before all the paperwork is complete, before we can schedule them. That would put them on site sometime probably in late November, early December. Their report would be back to us sometime mid-December for the structural engineer to finish their work on it, which pushes the entire project back to a late February or early March bid date. We had hoped to get the project out by the end of October, but because of these requirements and making sure that we meet current building codes and requirements for not just the city, but just for the style of building it is, it will push that construction deadline back, or that timeline, excuse me, back.
About 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief?
Good afternoon. I have one item for the consent agenda. It's item F this afternoon, and it's basically just an invoice. We had repairs made at one of the fire stations for a 7.5 ton air conditioner unit, and we received an invoice from Maintenance Plus in the amount of $5,300. And that included the replacement of the compressor, the line dryer, and the freon in that unit. And it has been repaired and now operational again. And because of the on-site visit, that requires your approval. That's to be expensed to account 260.
How long will it be without air?
Not about a day and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick turnaround. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you. Ted?
Afternoon. I have one item on the agenda. It's a quote for the replacement of a heat and air unit at the gas warehouse. This unit went out and it was pretty catastrophic failure, so they decided it was cheaper to replace than repair. So the amount's $8,400 for Maintenance Plus, and it's to be paid from budget account 390. Any questions on that?
And that's been done.
That has been completed, yes, ma'am. We were down just a few days. So it happened when it was still hot, so we made a move on it relatively quick.
Good deal.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you. Chief? Okay.
President, Council, good afternoon. I have two items on the agenda today. Item I is a resolution to approve a contract with Shoals Overhead Door to provide labor, equipment, materials, and incidentals necessary to repair an exit gate to our annex building. That's the building just south of our main property. I was here a couple of months ago. We were doing the exact same job on a police department gate. It's to a secure area. It's not secure right now because we don't have a gate that'll open and close. It's a key access code. And what this is, it's $425 in parts, $425 in labor. It's an underground power line that powers from the building to the gate that needs to be replaced. So the total is $900. Any question on that one?
Do you know how it got messed up?
I do not personally know how it got messed up. I know it was after the installation of the gate stopped working. They came out, looked at it, and they decided it was the power line. It wasn't the gate, it was the power going from the building to the gate. So that was determined on both of those projects. So hopefully we'll be good now. Hopefully this will be a secure area when we get this done. Any other questions? All right, item number J. This is a resolution to approve disparate jurisdiction agreement and MOU with Lauderdale County to prepare application to the U.S. Department of Justice 2024 JAG grant, Justice Assistance Grant Program Award. And that total, I believe, on that award is $10,453.01.
This is an annual thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you know how often we've done this or how many times we've been awarded this grant, Chief?
I don't know how many times, but it's annual and it's about as far back as I can remember, and I've been here quite some time.
Have we ever not gotten it?
I don't recall a time, no.
What was that amount again?
$10,453.01, and we go in half of that. Lauderdale County would get the same amount, we would get that amount. And just so you know, the items that we intend to purchase with that are some traffic homicide tools, some measuring equipment, cameras, paint, things like that. We have a traffic homicide unit, a cooling fan for our wellness area and special events, some protective rifle plates for our patrol officers, and some hand tools for our maintenance of our range, our training facility.
So the $10,453 will be split with Lauderdale County, and with our $5,000 plus, that's what we'll buy.
I believe our half is 10,000 and their half is.
Oh, okay, I was thinking that was, we were halving.
I may have said that
Okay,
incorrectly.
no
Sorry
worries,
about that.
just making sure, thank you,
And they've already approved their side.
thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Coons?
Good afternoon. Two things on the agenda. The first one is a contract with Whiteman and Collins to develop a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan for the recycle department. The new fuel tanks that have been added, any tanks greater than 1,320 gallon capacity require this by EPA. That we have a plan in place to address spills, leaks, so forth and so on. Whiteman and Collins has done our other spill prevention plans, and so this is to address that one. The new tanks going in at Recycle on Terrace Street. Any questions about that? Okay, the second item is a payment to Riverview Traffic Materials for repairs to a Caterpillar skid steer. The Recycle had a hydraulic leak under the cab, very difficult to get to. So these guys came in and repaired this machine for us, $1,821.32. Any questions about that one?
When did that happen, David?
The skid steer replacement about 2 weeks ago.
Any additional questions for him? Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Mary?
We have for you all this afternoon.
Yeah.
I have 3 items on the agenda. The first one is item M, and this is something that we bid out as we replaced our meters in case we happen to break a piece of equipment of the customers. This agreement will repair their meter base that we damaged during replacement of meters. Any questions about that?
Have you had to do any replacement?
We have.
Bearing?
We've had to do 2 already, so.
Busted lines.
No, just when we pulled one of them, we couldn't pull the meter, it was just locked in there from never being pulled in the last 40 years, and so we had to have someone come and do that. And then one of them, we pulled the meter and the lugs inside of it broke, so we had to have those repaired, so.
Have they been in about this range, Mary?
They have, and some of them less expensive than this, so if it's a lot of times we'll have the equipment ourselves, and they just, you know what I mean? So they'll use our equipment to replace it, we're just paying them for the labor. Does that make sense? The next two items in is an agreement with Haven Homes to do some remodeling and waterproofing of our building at 719 East Alabama Street. This is the old Stringfeller garage building, and they are tearing out the part that's old and molded and needs to be demoed, and they are repairing the roof, putting framing up a little space for us to put some electrical equipment in there, to put cameras up and our gate controls in there. So this is for the Stringfeller building, the amount of $78,163. Any questions about that?
How long will that take?
I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, once they get started, there's a good bit of work to do, so I'm thinking probably 2 to 3 months. Just, it's kind of gotta be a step at a time, and, but that's my guess. And the second one for O is also with Haven Homes to do the labor, materials, and incidentals. And this one is at our Reader Street admin office. And this is to finish out the unfinished space in the back. And they're gonna install 2 restrooms, a janitor's closet, and take a garage door down, frame it up, and just finish out, put a drop ceiling. It's a little bit of work to be done there, but this is not as much work as the other one, so I mean, I'm looking, if you timeline, probably a month and a half, 2 months on that one.
Any questions from here? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill? Bill Jordan? Bill? Ms. Bailey?
I think you're running so far ahead that Bill probably.
Yeah, get this train rolling.
Any questions that I can answer for these items?
The playground, recreation, would you just kind of go over that one?
Sure. So we have, over the last several years, been trying to assist with parks and recreation in areas of low, moderate income where we can, help with equipment. We most recently did some equipment at the Handy Rec Center. We've done a playground as well at, let me get my street, Royal Avenue Recreation Center. This is at Divert Park. So we will be replacing or helping to replace that playground there at Divert Park. And to be specific, we will be replacing it with an inclusive playground. And just to highlight what an inclusive playground is, if you'll give me just a moment. All children are created with the same desire and need to experience play. This play should challenge and inspire them physically, support and stimulate them cognitively, and facilitate an emotional and social connection. A well-designed inclusive playground welcomes children of all abilities to experience where everyone can interact and play together. The link between play and positive outcomes is so strong that the National Association for the Education of Young Children considers it an essential component of developmentally appropriate teaching practice. The American Academy of Pediatrics has issued guidance to help pediatricians encourage play, and the United Nations High Commission on Human Rights declared play a fundamental right of all children. There's a misconception that an accessible playground is synonymous with inclusive. However, simply ensuring accessibility for mobility devices such as a wheelchair is only part of a genuinely inclusive play design. In fact, 17% of children ages 3 to 17 have a disability that affects them in mobility ways, cognitively, hearing, or vision. A truly inclusive playground does not have separate areas for children with disabilities or designated spaces for special needs playground equipment. It means that everyone can play with their peers regardless of ability. It involves creating an atmosphere where everyone can interact, explore, imagine, and play together. All children need play regardless of their abilities. This includes children who are typically developing, as well as children with disabilities that may be physical, developmental, sight, or hearing impaired, or even intellectually. It also encompasses siblings, parents, grandparents, friends, and other caregivers of these children. An inclusive playground provides the right level of challenge to meet kids where they are, addresses all levels of ability, creates play experiences for various needs and interests, and welcomes kids and families of all abilities to learn, play, and grow together.
Amen.
Melissa, I really appreciated the email that you sent to us with that explanation. It was really thoughtful and thought-provoking. One of the questions I have is, there is some additional equipment already in the playground
Yes.
area at Dybert that was gifted to the community, and I want to know how these two things are going to work together.
So we are only part of this project equation. We will specifically be participating in the piece of the structure that mimics a barn look. We just recently gotten some conceptuals, so we need to get Bill Jordan to share those with you all. But there are many other components, just like the equipment that you mentioned, that are part of the overall project.
Okay, so there will be more opportunities for more children to take advantage
Oh,
of it.
absolutely. And to be specific, what you're approving tonight is a contract between community development for the federal funds that we'll be using on this project. These are federal grant funds with no match to the city, so it's 100% federal funds that we will be using as a portion of the project. When we do that with federal grant funds that are come through our office, then we have, with a contract, if you will, a memorandum of understanding with that department, that they will uphold all of the rules and regulations that govern that money. So that's what you're actually approving tonight, is the actual memorandum between my department and Park and Recreation.
Do we have any other playgrounds that need to be brought up to those
So-
standards there? Because, I mean, this is a great idea. I was getting this confused with the other one.
Oh, with the
UNA
one that-
playground that's coming
right,
up.
right.
But it got me to thinking about, is the other one, like they're doing, will it be able to accommodate?
And I'm not certain about that, and Bill Jordan would probably be a better person to discuss that with. What I will say from a planning perspective and a community development perspective is the more we can do to not segregate based upon any disability whatsoever, in our programming, in our recreational offerings, we should be doing that. Some of these things will take time to implement, but I do think that Florence as a whole has been much more responsive in our offerings than I have seen in other areas. We have the Miracle Field, for example. We have the playground that Rotary participated in down at the Florence Harbor as part of River Heritage. I mean, I think having the awareness and the support from you all is the first step. And then as we go along and replace these structures and redevelop these parks and also look at our recreational programming, then we can ensure that we are incorporating, because we know so much more about these types of disabilities than we ever have before.
Yeah, I called Bill earlier today about this, and that was one of the things I said is, well, what do we need to do to get them all
Right.
this way? Because, you know, I mean, a kid ought to be able to go to a playground anywhere and be able to use it.
Yeah,
So,
they absolutely should.
once I got the definition of what all this meant and covered, you know, it makes all the sense in the world to have them all that way if we can get, you know, the money to do it. So,
Right, absolutely. Okay. President Simmons, is anything else?
Any additional questions? One more thing, if you can.
Sure.
The approve the vacation of the right of way.
Yes,
Let's touch on
thank
that.
you. Yes, I will. So, this unopened right-of-way lies adjacent to what would be St. Joseph's School and I'll call it the exit ramp as you head into Sweetwater, into the East Florence area. There's a strip of right-of-way that has never been improved. The school and the church have been maintaining it for some time. And at this juncture, they really would like to take ownership of it. No one has access to this right-of-way because it sits on the hill. So if you come off of Florence Boulevard down into the Sweetwater area, there's a retaining wall that would be to the south, or if you're going down, it'd be on the right. That's that strip of right-of-way. It's from the top of that retaining wall up the hill. So it can never be developed as a right-of-way, but this would, by vacating it, then the school and the church would accept ownership of it and could, their plans are to do some plantings to take out a lot of that overgrowth and to make it look a little more presentable than it does now.
Ms. Simmons, can I ask her a question?
Sure.
How, you know, that stretches all the way to Royal Avenue, how, you gonna vacate all of it,
Yes,
all the way to the bottom?
yes. We'll say all the way to the bottom, it actually sits on that hillside, but yes, it would be, from where Plum Street starts up the hill, to the end of that retaining wall.
Who will own the wall for maintenance in the future? Will that still be the city?
No, actually, by vacating the right-of-way, it will be conveyed to all adjoining property owners, which in this case is only the church and the school, and they will be responsible for maintenance perpetually. And by virtue of that, it will allow them to clear out that undergrowth or that overgrowth and install, you know, landscaping that would probably be a little better than
That's one of
just
my favorite walls in the
wall.
city.
Yeah, the wall's definitely not going anywhere because it's a retaining wall, but it will, you know, allow them to do some streetscaping there.
But ongoing maintenance,
Would be their responsibility, yes.
yeah, that's a critical component.
Sure.
Any additional questions?
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Batson?
I have two items on the agenda. And first is a resolution to approve an agreement with the Alabama Department of Transportation by and through its transportation director, maintenance of public right-of-way within the city limits, accepting maintenance responsibility for the newly constructed 8-foot wide asphalt shared use path located at the eastern right-of-way of Hilton Drive. And that's part of the Bradshaw Drive, Hilton Drive section. And actually, there's a shared use path plan for Rickwood, the last set of plans I saw. And Rickwood from Chisholm will be connecting to Hilton, so.
There was a nice piece in the paper earlier this week about this project, and I'm glad to see it getting that attention. I do want to clarify, as there were some things that the reporter did leave out, and that is just how far this project reaches, and if there's any portion of Brickwood, east of Helton Drive that would also qualify as this project?
Well, this particular project, you know, it will go from the intersection of Rickwood and Helton. And it will go to Bradshaw, and we're gonna be putting in, and that's gonna be the next item I discuss. It's gonna be a signal system, you know, there that is gonna be the city's responsibility, it appears, but then it goes up Bradshaw to just beyond where the school is. You know, I think it goes all the way across that driveway to the freshman center.
To that entrance and exit, okay.
And like I said, unless something drastic happens, the Rickwood plans are showing, you know, a shared use path too on the south side of the road, I believe, and a sidewalk on the other side. Is there anything else?
Any additional questions for us?
Okay, there's a resolution approving agreement with the Alabama DOT for installation and maintenance of pedestrian signals at Helton and Bradshaw. And I kind of lumped that with what was previous to it, but I thought I'd repeat it again, so.
Okay, thank you. Bill? George? Amy? Keep it around. Mr. Lighty?
You're busy, Bill.
I've got two items on the agenda tonight, they're both alcohol beverage license applications, one for a special event with on-premises liquor, beer, and wine by Billy Reed, doing business as Billy Reed Shindig Tailgate, located at 333 Jim Spain Drive, which is in McFarland Park, take place on Saturday, October 12th.
Hey, Bob, I have a question about that one. When it's in McFarland like that, does the entire McFarland property count for that, or is it just a portion of it?
Just a portion of it.
What portion?
I don't know exactly, it's supposed to be roped off. And then down there, so I don't.
Mr. Jordan has an answer, because you can rent different portions of the park. Correct?
You mean, is it okay if I, so it's a shelter at the park.
Okay, a singular shelter.
Singular shelter,
Okay.
they're having I think it says a tailgate party.
Yeah.
And so they're aware of all the things that they have to do to file an ABC board. And she was in today, we went and talked to Chris, so she's very well aware.
Thank you, Bob,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other item I have is the alcohol beverage license application for the operation of a full menu restaurant with on-premises liquor, beer, and wine by KMT Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Lauderdale Lanes, located at 1540 Florence Boulevard. And they, ABC no longer has where you can have a lounge license at bowling alleys. For some reason. they
So
put
this
that.
resolved their problem from our last meeting?
Yeah, so. And both of these have been approved by ABC, so we're in compliance with them. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bill Jordan, you still in here this time?
You might be.
I made it quickly. Quickly. How are y'all doing this afternoon? So we have several items as y'all saw. Do y'all want me to go through each individual one, or how would y'all like? I know y'all got the information. I'm happy to do whatever pleases y'all.
Did y'all understand what he sent out?
Yes. I do.
Any particulars about any of the items? Some of them were some bills, some of them were MOUs that Amy can speak to some of those, but anything that I can answer in particular.
I think in keeping with how we manage this, of course, the contracts, everyone here but Mr. Hendricks would have been
Sure.
privy to those previously. But would you be okay going over RS and T, as those are not those contracts?
Absolutely.
Just to give us
Sure.
a little bit of insight.
So I think, item R, if I'm correct, is Henderson Roofing, is that correct?
It is,
Okay, so that is, we would like to submit a payment for an invoice to Henderson Roofing. And that was the purpose of removing existing leaking shingles. And this roof was leaking, so it was causing damage to our facility. And installing a new roof at the Park Patrol office on Chisholm Road. And this work includes materials necessary to complete the job. The total amount was $7,545.
that's different than our amount.
Yeah, £8,000.
Item R7,
We've got $8,029.80.
That's 9.5% tax.
maybe.
We have that big bonus. Do we have a copy of that big bonus?
I do have a copy
Okay.
in my email. Give me the
It's probably a
typo.
Sorry.
No, that's
What's that-
okay.
what's that amount?
I have 7,545, but you say, Kathy, it's, or what was on the agenda was,
8,029.80.
Yeah.
well, I apologize.
So what you're
Which
giving
is-
us is right.
Which is correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna defer to Kathy.
Well,
With
I
that-
don't have a copy of it with me, but you're probably correct if that's what the invoice.
Bob will have.
Does Bob have the?
Well, we went over that one. That's what I have on my memo, and I don't, I guess I can try to,
Well, I'm sure you're correct.
you mean to skip that one and go,
Yeah, go ahead to the next one, we'll come
I
back to
think
that one.
Bob's got it.
okay. Oh, Bob's got it right there.
He's still looking, you can go ahead and answer. We'll
What was the
go ahead.
next one? Growing Solutions?
Yes. Growing.
I'm kinda scared. So this is we'd like to enter into a contract with Growing Solutions South. And the purpose of this is to install a water treatment injection system. And what this will do is, as I explained in the stuff I sent y'all, is to control the pH of the water that we use to irrigation. So this system will drop a little bit of acid as needed that will improve the pH, so it makes the water now is not doing what it's supposed to do. So this is a system that was put in when the Sportsplex was built originally. So this is a new system that we're having to replace.
How old was the other system?
So the Sportsplex was built in 2006, so
It's almost 20 years old.
almost 20 years old, correct.
And so this will then, Bill, cover the entire area
Yes.
and all the new. So
Correct.
this replaces the old and gives us new coverage for the new fields that have been built.
Well, the new ones are fortunately, they are turf, so we don't have to water them. So this just covers the grass fields that we have anywhere we use irrigation. That is correct.
It was 80, 29, 80. There was services at the bottom of the invoice that got left off.
So it's the
It says the
8,029
1x6
and
decking.
The
Okay.
one, they added on some stuff, that is correct.
450,
That is correct.
460.
My apologies.
Okay. So the $8,029.80 is accurate.
Y'all were correct, I was wrong, correct. Not you, Kathy, it was me. What I did, I couldn't get that to download, so I took a screenshot of my memo and I didn't screenshot the whole thing. If y'all would like to know, that's what I did, so it's my mistake, I apologize. Rhonda's watching going, I know I didn't make that mistake, I know I did it right. So the next one I think was Barnett Plumbing, is that the one y'all, okay, so this is we'd like to enter into a contract with Barnett Plumbing. And the purpose of this is for services, materials, and labor on an as-needed basis. That way, if we have a plumbing issue at the campground, that we can call them and they can come fix it. And they've already given us a list of prices that I sent y'all.
Are there any questions?
Congratulations on the grant, being funded.
Thank you.
I think that was to the tune of
They're gonna announce it just.
a little over $400,000.
Were there any other?
I'm just looking back through everything. There are a couple of others.
Sure.
FF,
We've got time to give one just to go over all of them.
No, because you have the contracts with them. Yeah, for their services that they have at the Park and Rec, yoga, baton twirling, line dancing. But there are other things that are, funds that we expend, so.
So I think that one would be the Water Street Communications. Is that the next one you see?
Yes.
Okay, so that is, we would like to submit for payment of an invoice, and this was work completed by Water Street Communications. The purpose of this was to troubleshoot and repair damaged fiber ends at the sportsplex. And the work includes labor and material necessary to complete the job, including 3 fiber optic connectors and testing. So they came out, we had some issues with our Wi-Fi fiber, and they came out and troubleshot it, but then they found that it needed these parts to do it, so they had to be replaced.
Skips Handy Service.
What's next?
Irons Electric,
It's, GG is what it's called on here. Irons Electric is HH.
Steve, skip work.
which y'all know which, let's see.
GG.
I think that was Skip's Handy Service, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us what happened to the ceiling fans.
So we had some water damage from the leak, from the leaking roof, and that was to, we had to replace a sheetrock a while back, and so this was to replace the broken ceiling fans and all the stuff that was damaged during that leak. So this is they will remove and install 6 outdoor ceiling fans and repair the ceiling where it was damaged at Blackberry Trail. And that total is $3,100. If y'all remember, we replaced the roof, but before that we had some leaking roofs. And any questions about that one? Next one is Irons Electric, and we'd like to enter into a contract with Irons Electric for the purpose of providing electrical service on an as-needed basis for the attached rates, and this will simplify the payment process. The contract could be extended for additional 3 years if there's no change in rates. And so this is an as-needed basis, as Barnett Point was. Anything else?
I think that's got it.
So I will tell y'all, before I got over here, we got some figures from the World Series of the economic impact, and this is somebody that tourism had to do some numbers, and his numbers were $3.8 million for both tournaments.
To our local economy.
That's correct. Sorry about the confusion about the one invoice.
3.8.
3.8, yes ma'am. Thank y'all, y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you, thank you. Well, that concludes part of our work session, but at this time, if everyone, this is a bittersweet moment, I guess we would say. Miss Martha Murphy has been with the city 35 years, and today, this is her last work session. So, will everybody just give Martha and then we'll let the mayor say something, standing ovation. Thank you for your longevity, thank you for your service, and while I'm speaking, I'll just continue on, and then we'll give everybody else an opportunity to tell you how much they love you and appreciate you. You have, coming into the council in 2016, you have certainly been everything to me, because when we got elected, we didn't even know where the bathroom was. And you have just taken us as if I was your child and just leading us and guiding us, because it was totally green to this. And I just want to appreciate you for everything that you've done to try to guide me and to help me learn this process. And you'll never be forgotten. I'll always hold you dear. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. This is my 958th council work session.
958 work session. Wow, that gives another one.
Martha, we're gonna round that up to 1,000. There's no way that it was just that perfectly done, simply because there've been special meetings and other things that we've had to do. It's always been a joy to get to work with you, even when you email us and you chide us like we're your children. Hey, don't forget your flower fund money, and hey, I've got things up here to sign, and hey, don't you forget about that. There's your folder in there. And those are the kinds of things, though, that we all need, because this job is different. It's not like it is where you go 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 every day, and you have a different level of accountability, and you have become the glue for me to help hold it together. And I am deeply grateful for all that you have done, not just for me, but for the council, for every one of those 35 years. You've made a difference. Please remember that. And I will always think of you as a very dear friend.
Yes, and you've been you're like a mom to us. And
That's why I called you on my trip.
I know, and moms have to get onto their children every now and then. She didn't hesitate to do that when needed, and it was always appreciated. I don't think a single parade we were in could happen if it was not for her telling us, hey, the candy's here, you're driving this and you're driving this, and she kept us straight, and you're gonna be missed big time, not just for those reasons, but just to come in the office and not see you sitting there anymore is gonna be just an empty spot. And thank you so much for guiding me. I didn't know what I was doing when I got here. I thought I might, but I didn't. And you let me know. Sometimes I didn't know what I was doing, and you showed me how to do it. Thank you so much.
If there were a book, you would have written it, because you knew it all. And there were times I had no clue, and I just appreciate it. Not that I would ever do it wrong, but and I hope there's a book actually written that those who follow you
Please.
can. Because so many things have changed over the years, and you just slide with it and go right on. Thank you for your service to our city.
Well, I just want to thank you for guiding me. When I first came on the council, she introduced me as one of her children, and has corrected me many times on things that I should have done or didn't or need to do or whatever. Thank you for always being there. If I ever had a problem or have a problem, I just call Martha and you get the answer, or she takes care of it for you. So thank you very much for all you've done for me. Thank you.
Martha, my relationship with you's been a little different than theirs both the years, because I've always called you to go to that microphone, and you've always gotten me on the agenda when I needed to do that and helped me be involved with the city and with things, and now I'm sitting up here on this microphone, so thank you for all the times I've called you.
Mayor Petterson?
Well, Martha, we've known each other a long time, since you and Walter went to First United Methodist Church. I've known you since when, we won't say how long. You've been a joy to work with, and you don't mind stating the facts as they are and straighten us out if you need it. But this week, since I've been mayor, I've tried to bring Muffin Day once a week, at least once a week, to all the folks on the second floor. And when I brought it this week, she said next week she expects me to drop it by her house. So congratulations.
Thank you, Martha. Martha, I'd be remiss if you didn't say something.
It's been one.
Get the microphone so everybody can hear you.
Well, it's been a wonderful 35 years. I've enjoyed 6 mayors and 9 different council groups. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself if I don't get up and come to work. So I may come back sometime. But thank y'all for everything. And don't hesitate to call me if there's anything I can do. I'll be glad to do it.
No, don't worry, we will.
Thank you.
Can we get a photo?
When is Muffin Day?
Rachel, can we
What day is Muffin Day?
Okay.
You just have to stay tuned.
Okay.
One last thing, Kathy knows from her job description that she had to agree to stay at least 35 years.
I won't be alive.
Don't say that. Miss Kathy, you wanna have something to say?
Well, I'm honored, first of all, and I'm scared to death. I would never, ever be able to fill your shoes. You've done more than anything, anybody in the city, but I'm honored to be taking your place, and I'm gonna miss you too. I've known you all my life, just about, and it's gonna be sad to, I wish you could stay, but I am honored, and you've taught me a lot, and I'll never be able to fill your shoes, but I'm gonna try to do a good job if I can.
You'll do fine.
But
You'll do fine.
I'm just honored to know you and have you as my friend as well.
Thank you.
So did you want a
So-
picture?
We do. At this time, we're gonna go ahead and close out the work session that concludes that. And the council and the mayor, and we'll all get a picture with Miss Martha. So the council session is adjourned at this time. I'm sorry, work session.